I had a few things on my mind here. Just one, obviously, about Purdy. I'm not a huge fan of his arm strength. I think that that's his biggest limitation. I am also on the other fence where it's like, hey, who else would we have, right? It's like next year's pretty much our last year to win a Super Bowl. Would you agree?
I mean, I'm not even sure that the window's still open, but sure.
Christian McCaffrey, he's pushing 30. Kittle, Debo, how much treads left on that tires, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I really think last year is next year's our last real chance to win a Super Bowl. And, I think if we have the same season that we do next year, they'll probably replace Kyle. And then it's like, a first year head coach winning the Super Bowl. It's like, is that really going to happen? And then it's like, are we going to win a Super Bowl with Christian McCaffrey as 33 years old? These guys pushing 30. So it's like Trent Williams as well. So I really think next year's our last chance to really win the Super Bowl. So I'm kind of all in on Brock. It's like I'd rather not pay him $60 million, but what do we really do there?
Yeah. Well, they could draft a quarterback this year. They could go get a quarterback. You're right. I mean, it seems like this is the most. It's just his season was so disconcerting. The way he played at the end of close games was alarming. The way he played in that do or die game against the Rams was just pretty bad.
A little more arm strength, and I think that we'd probably be in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, and I think what's kind of scary too is like we all agree that he's better than Jimmy, but you can't deny that his career arc has been like freaking identical to Jimmy's, and like we know what happened to Jimmy. So you could pay him all this money, but that's not necessarily going to change where the story's going.
Yeah, and like late in the games, can they actually get it over the line like a Mahomes, a Josh Allen, where it's like these guys are like dialed in. They're like, I will do anything it takes to win this football game. And I just didn't see him. I just didn't see that from Brock in the Super Bowl. So that's a little bit concerning as well. But I think with his confidence, he can get going. I actually have a proposition for you.
Sure.
I think that, it's no stranger that Kyle doesn't really like you.
Allegedly, I don't know. He hasn't said it to my face.
I mean, it's pretty obvious, but I think if next year's our best chance to win a Super Bowl, I think you should try to get along with him. I think that, if there's even a percentage that he's worrying about you and not the Super Bowl, I think he's like, you got to give him a year off. Just try giving him a year off and see if we win, because if not, that's fine. But I don't want there to be a percentage in his head that he's worrying about Grant Cohn or external factors. I think that that's something to think about, but I've been a diehard Niners fan, and it's been brutal watching us lose these Super Bowls. And I hate to think that there's a reason in his head where he's like, man, Grant's going to rip me, or someone's going to rip me, or someone's going to say something. So that's my proposition for you. What do you think?
I'll talk to him about it at the owners' meetings in a couple months. See what he says.
Okay, right. At a conference, cocktail hour.
Yeah, they have one of those like every year for like the owners and the play and the coaches. It's cool. Last year he didn't show up, but Saleh was there. Harbaugh was there.
Just have a 30-second one-on-one heart-to-heart to be like, hey, man, sorry for the past. I'm all in on you. Let's get this thing done next year, whatever you need from me, and maybe try not to grill him every time when he comes off a win.
All right, Ryan, have a good one. I don't know that I can say I'm all in on you, but we'll see what I can do. Ezio Sanchez says, do a straight-up trade for Mike Tomlin besides nepotism CEO, who says no. Both coaches need to change, or scenery won't happen, LOL.